It's one of the synonyms. Àwọn ọlọ́mọ jẹ́ atọ́kùn wa fún symposium yìí. Ẹ jọ̀ọ́, ẹ jẹ́ ká ṣá gbogbo wọn ní àtẹ́wọ́. All right, atọ́kùn, over to you.
Eshegun, thank you very much. I know that this panel was supposed to be at 3 p.m. It's just 3 hours later. I think for a start, I just want to say a big thank you to everybody for being here on a Tuesday, Thursday, for a very special moment for culture in Nigeria and most specifically for cinema in Nigeria and for Yoruba people, I think so. We are here for the first time ever having a museum dedicated exclusively to Yoruba culture, history, and heritage. And also, for the first time, having an epic film that everybody has been proud of its first part. And now we have the second part coming out tomorrow, and we're having a premiere in a museum. That for me is historic. I want to say a very big thank you to Latif for Moroti and this has been since October, if I'm not mistaken, and we've been having this conversation. And here we are today. And I want to just start by actually asking you, what does it really mean, in your own words, what does it really mean to be here at this very moment in time?
It's a thing of joy. A great time to be alive. A great time that this is happening in my generation. What we have always wanted to do is happening. What I've always dreamt that one day I want to do this. It's happening. That it's not even happening in this small way. It's coming out of you, which is to uphold our culture, to portray our own stories, and to keep letting people know that in this part of the world, we are big on culture, we are big on tradition. We have got our own heroes as well that we must celebrate. Why do we embrace other people's culture and forget ours? So this has always been a major thing that I want to do, and I'm glad that it's happening now.
Thank you very much. I'm going to talk to my own big sister, Bibi Bakari. You are a very, very well-renowned publisher. And I mean, since I've ever known you, this is what I've known you for. Meaning you are into storytelling. You are into storytelling in a big way, as an entrepreneur, also as a custodian, and also as a curator. So you have been very much engaged in how do we move through, how do we move it around. Because today we are having a movie premiere. But one thing I've always understood about creatives is that whether we are in movie, in music, in literature, in dance, in architecture, in fashion, all of us, whether we know it or not, we are actually engaged in technology and storytelling. How are you seeing, the possible interaction, between all the different media that we all use? Where are we currently? Where can we go? At least, especially from this moment.
Thank you so much. Can you all hear me? Yes. I think it's a really exciting moment
take that seriously, that the world study us, whether we study ourselves and whether we think what we do is important or whether our history is important. People who are doing mathematics and computation, they look at Yoruba, they look at Ifa, and they look at mathematical elements of Ifa, right? As these are deep philosophical and very deeply scientific stuff, and we have to take it seriously. So I think where we are at this moment in time is that we're seeing a convergence of whether it's the literary culture, whether it's the musical, whether it's theater and cinema that we're here to celebrate tonight. We're seeing all of this convergence, and people across Nigeria and across the Black world are beginning to take that seriously for themselves. We are telling our own stories. But for me, I think it's not enough that we tell our own stories. We have to own the means of telling that story. We can do films, we can do cinemas and all of that stuff. But if we don't own the infrastructure for doing so, somebody else is going to determine whether we can or cannot produce the film. So you may do your film, and so we have to rely on Netflix to do it. If Netflix decides today this film is going to go because what we need, then we have nowhere to go. We are back to NGA, and we know all of what that means and stuff. So I think what is crucial is as we're telling our own stories, we also have to take cognizance of the importance of building the infrastructure, or what I call the infrastructure of the imagination. We have to build the infrastructure alongside the telling stories, because the telling stories is one thing, the owning the means of production of telling that story, they're two separate things. So we have to be cognizant of that, and I'm very much, as a person, very much interested in curating stories, but also owning the means of production. Those two things is how do we combine them together.
Beautiful, and I think that was why when I was mentioning you saying you're an alternative to me, and I'll come to our brother Marcelo, who has become a very popular person doing something that many people of our generation don't even think that will actually become viral doing such things. And I just want to kind of latch on this idea of owning the platform. I mean, we all see that now you're going to be on DSTV. Before, it was going to be the other way around. And now, it's just amazing how people all by themselves start their own platform, and the mainstream platforms start running after them afterwards. So I want you to just tell us, because when you were being introduced now, introduced many things. For many people online think you are a content creator. For me, I know that it was a strategy. So can you just tell us something about that strategy and how, now that we've gotten to this point, we're taking not just ownership, but also cognizance of the ways in which we can do this thing that can sound cool, but at the same time, it's completely your plan. Please tell us about that experience. And that's all well.
If you go, you go. So that I'm a do bend you, but you we are got the whoop for the
yàrá yìí tá bá ti wọnú ẹ̀ ń tọ́ tó máa ń ṣe sẹ́yìn wọ́n máa gbọ́ Yorùbá.
Ó máa gbọ́ Yorùbá, a dúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ Ọlọ́run. Lẹ́yìn Ọlọ́run, ọba mi ọlọ́pọlọ tí ń fọpọlọ fẹ́ni tó ń fọpọlọ lọ́pọlọ. Nígbà tẹ́ni tó ń wọ́pọlọ bá wọ́pọlọ wá sílé ọlọ́pọlọ tí í ṣe àgbàlagbà mi Elédùmarè tí ń gbénú ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ ọ̀rọ̀ fẹ́ni tó ń fọpọlọ lọ́pọlọ. Lẹ́yìn Ọlọ́run. Èmi olùkọ́ ni mí, olùkọ́ èdè Yorùbá ni mí. Mi ò kí ń ṣe ẹni tí ó ń gbé nǹkan jáde lórí ayélujára. I'm not a content creator. Olùkọ́ èdè Yorùbá ni mí. Mo dẹ̀ ń kọ́ àwọn tó lé ní ọdún. Mi ò ní àwọn ẹni ní káàkiri àgbáyé. Mo ní àwọn tí mò ń kọ́ ní Yale, Harvard, Princeton. Àwọn ilé ẹ̀kọ́ bẹ́ẹ̀ yẹn mú kọ́ wọn. Ṣùgbọ́n mo wá wò pé báwo la ṣe máa ṣe tó jẹ́ wípé wákàtí mẹ́rìndínlógún ni mo ní lọ́jọ́ kan láti kọ́ àwọn èèyàn ní èdè Yorùbá, ṣùgbọ́n mo fẹ́ kọ́ èèyàn púpọ̀. Ọ̀nà wo ni mo máa gbé gbà láti lè rí pé mo kọ́ àwọn èèyàn púpọ̀? Mi ò lè kọ́kọ́ já pátápátá mo lo ẹ̀mí ò lè gbéra mi. Wákàtí méjìdínlógún ni mo máa fi ń jókòó sínú yàrá ìkẹ́kọ̀ọ́ mi ní ọjọ́ kan. Màá fi wákàtí méjì sùn. Láti mo rí pé ó fẹ́ máa di pé ó jù fẹ́ máa rẹra, mo dínkù díẹ̀. Àwọn èèyàn tún wá tí wọ́n fẹ́ wá pé èdè Yorùbá. Mo wá òkè kí la máa ṣe. Òun ló bí Mason yìí. Mo ń ṣe fún àwọn akẹ́kọ̀ọ́ mi láti lè jẹ́ kí wọ́n lè gbọ́ èdè Yorùbá dáadáa. Akọ̀ ní èmi àti ẹni tó ń bá mi ṣiṣẹ́ ní tó yá jókòó jẹ́ ká fi ṣeré. Mo fi ẹ̀rọ ìbánisọ̀rọ̀ mi mo fi ṣe mo fẹ́ràn mo fi sí orí ayélujára. Ìgbà tó yá mo ní ó yá èló náà ń pa àwọn ẹ̀rọ ayàwòrán wọ̀nyí gan, ó yá jẹ́ ká rà á. Ìdí tá a fi ṣe Mason Òyìnbó láti lè jẹ́ kí n jẹ́ olùkọ́ fún àwọn tí wọ́n lè wá sí yàrá ìkẹ́kọ̀ọ́, kì í ṣe láti di ìlúmọ̀ọ́ká àbí láti èmi mo ríra ní bí olùkọ́ èdè Yorùbá, nítorí èdè àti àṣà Yorùbá jẹ mí lógún gan. Nǹkan tá wáyé láàyè, mi ò mọ tààtà, mi ò mọ gíítà, mi ò méré ṣe, nǹkan kan tí mo mọ̀ ṣe ní Yorùbá. Màá wá ṣe bí pé ẹni mi ò ní ṣe rí, àti wípé ìbádíje mi ó jẹ mọ́ Yorùbá, kì í ṣe pẹ̀lú èèyàn. Nígbà tí a wá wo ìtàn, kí ni ìtàn? Ní nǹkan bá tàn, kí ló túmọ̀ sí? Ó tàn, kí ló túmọ̀ sí? Spread. Tàn, ó túmọ̀ sí stranded. Tàn, ó túmọ̀ sí deceit. Ìdí nìyẹn, wọ́n ní má tàn mí o. Mi ò mọ̀bi kankan ní ilẹ̀ Amẹ́ríkà o, má tàn o. Ìyẹn ni pé I'll be stranded o. Ibẹ̀ láti wá ti rí ìtàn. Ìyẹn ni wípé bàbá sọ ìtàn wa bàbá mi, a máa tàn. Àwọn míì wọ́n wá tàn wá.
All right, okay. Jẹ́ kí n mú láti wọ́n ti fi Yorùbá thank you. But ká wà táàkì di olùkọ́ ká máa ní ìtẹ̀bẹ̀ ká má bàa tàn. Ẹ̀gbọ́n sọ ọ̀túnba ownership. Mo fẹ́ padà wá sí conversation because at the same time that we're celebrating this, we are also at the same time contemplating the effect of the exit of the For me, very to us now going forward. What has been I feel like it's timely. I think it's sorry, it's my personal opinion. I think it's a good thing because they've done something to show us that there's something possible in terms of the quality, the amount of time we put into it, the amount of work we put into it, not just what we are known for. 2 weeks now, man, we don't even magic film. Slap, what's it long? There's a new culture that they brought. How do we, or where do we go from there? Thinking also about the good thing about owning your own country. Where do we go from? Or where do you go from?
Nǹkan tí mo mọ̀ tó dájú lójú ni pé gbogbo ohun tó dé láti ń bẹ̀. Ó dé wá bá wa ní. Bó bá gbéra tó lóun ń lọ, a sì máa bẹ̀. Èyí tó wá ṣe kókó jù ni pé ní bíbẹ tá à ń bẹ ẹni tóun ti lọ. Ṣáà wá nínú ìkànjẹ́ wọn àbí a máa wá ọ̀nà míì gbà pé bẹ́lẹ̀ ìbá lọ, bí yóò ṣe mọ́, ó jẹ́ kéyìí ṣe. So it is not, I don't think it's the end of the world. It is just for us to sit and re-strategize on what is next to do or how to go about it. One thing I've come to realize is nǹkan táwa bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí gbé lárugẹ wọ́n fi kọ́ wa lẹ́nu wò òun ní àṣà àti ìṣe títí wọn àti báwọn ṣe ń ṣe káwa tó wá jí sí ìtawà bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí ṣe nígbà tá a jí wọ́n rí pé kò ń ṣe ṣeréwéré nítorí nígbà tá a bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí ìdáàtà ibẹ̀ láti wá mọ̀ pé ohun tí sista sọ láìpẹ́ pé Yorùbá ní ohun táwọn èèyàn study jù lágbàáyé fíìmù tá a bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí jù sórí Netflix jẹ́ ká rí bẹ́ẹ̀ pé òkọ́ ni nítorí gbogbo epic tó ń jù bẹ́ẹ̀ ló lọ jáde ní tó túmọ̀ sí pé ayé ń wò àwa la sọ jù èyí tó ti fi kọ́ wa yẹn ó ti wá wà nínú ẹ̀jẹ̀ ó ti wá settle sínú brain wa tá a bá ti wá rí nǹkan bí tó yàtọ̀ sí àkínfẹ́ gbé lárugẹ àmọ́ nísìnyí táwa náà ti jí níbi ohun tá a sùn para táwa ń try láti dá àwọn èèyàn wa padà níwọ̀n bá wàá bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí ṣe epic lera nílà àwọn èèyàn wa tó ń complain pé wọn ò mọ̀ ju epic lọ nítorí pé kí ni ohun tí a ti fi lọ tọ́ra wa ó ti dùn mọ́ wa kọjá àyè ohun tó jẹ́ títí wa àwa dá wa padà sẹ́sẹ́ àárọ̀ nígbà tá a bá dára wa padà síbẹ̀ tí ò sí nǹkan míì a rí pé ohun tiwa yìí tẹ́ni tèkísà yìí so we are back there no matter how much we want to go to the foreign land or do something foreign this is us and then a lot of us tá a bá fẹ́ bímọ sí àwọn èèyàn ò sálọ ìlú òyìnbó lọ bímọ ni o tá a bá wá dé àwọn ọmọ yẹn sàn ìní ò ní wálé lógún ọdún ẹ sọ fún mi báwo ló ṣe fẹ́ mú àṣà àti ṣe tá a bá fẹ́ pé àwa ní ọmọ wa ni ọ̀nà olóògbàjọ ọmọ wa kò ń ṣe ọmọ wa ó ti dán ọmọ wọn ihun tán lè fi jọ ọmọ wa ní gbogbo ilé ìta ń ṣe láti máa dá wọn padà sí òun nítorí tó bá jókòó tó nǹkan tó jọ mọ́ títí ẹ bí gbogbo nǹkan sọ̀rọ̀ ẹ̀jẹ̀ á sọ̀rọ̀ ara sọ̀rọ̀ fún ẹgbẹ́ ibi tó ti wáyé wà dé padà síbẹ̀. So we will keep telling our story. If it is for nothing, we will keep documenting them and keep keeping them. Someday there will be a way that we will put it on our own platform and people will come for it. Just as we went for them, they would come for it as well.
Nice. Thank you very much.
Without the two languages, French and German. You do philosophy because you have to, either you're in the continental tradition where you have to do the French, so whether you're writing English or not, you have to do French or German, and then you are English. So in my case, when I did my PhD, I didn't want to have to go through French and German, so I registered in Islamic, but still doing philosophy, following using a French philosopher. So then I registered in philosophy, I would have to read and write in French. Now we come to Yoruba, we do a PhD about Yoruba culture, we do it fast, and some people do not even speak Yoruba. It's unthinkable. And that has to change. And that can only change first and foremost if people are writing Yoruba and thinking philosophically. Because Yoruba is such a sophisticated language, and it has a very sophisticated and well-developed philosophy. So if you are having a body of work like that, then you have publishers. Publishers like me, you have to publish. But in order to publish, you have to know that there's going to be an audience to receive that. And sometimes, for you to publish a book, you have to have government. That's the reality. Government has to support certain types of books, the production of certain types of books, with the full knowledge that this is not, it doesn't have a commercial imperative. It's a patient capital. It's development, it takes time. So even us as a publisher, we know that there's some books that we're going to publish that's likely to make us money, and there's books that will not make us any money, but they're important that they are published because you're thinking about what I call the archival future. You're thinking about the future, the archive that you're resurrecting in your film. Right? It's what was created in the present. So anything we do today will become the archive of the future. If we don't do it, if we don't do anything today, there will be nothing. establish this Yoruba museum, there will be nothing. We will continue to have a European framework where they say Africa has no history, right? And we have no history, supposedly we have no history because the writing of history is seen through text, through the written text. They do not see the artifacts as forms of history. Even though for them, they look at artifacts as history, but when it comes to us, it is memory. So there's a distinction between memory and history, right? So we need to understand those kind of distinctions, but without us allowing it to invade our thoughts, right? Both history and memory are important, and we must be lasting. So the landscape currently is that there needs to be serious work between universities where the scholars are there and make the writing from undergrad level to PhD level. You write, if you're going to do anything in Yoruba culture, you must study Yoruba. You must understand it. Because if you don't understand it, you cannot get the nuances. And I'll give you, just before I close, I'll give you an example. I came to Nigeria to research, I was sitting on the bus in the building. I just went to kind of experience Lagos. And I was like, this is such a chaotic space. What is going on? Why is the building so chaotic? Right? And I'm like, oh, okay. It makes sense. So that's my thinking. So I go to the building like to talk to professors of Yoruba. They say, what does Ojuelegba mean? They said, you see, it became bitter. And I was like, what does that became bitter? No, it can't be. So I came around. These are scholars who said, so I'm thinking, okay, there must have been a shrine there once upon a time. There must have been. Professors couldn't tell me that Ojuelegba, what the meaning of it. They couldn't understand that. So I then traced back, and found the shrine of history in Akaparo, where they moved them when they built the bridge. And those I think we need to understand why the chaos of the space, the name,
It's connected to
is
history.
connected to the history and all of this kind of stuff. But yeah, people in so I spent 24 hours looking at that space and looking at all the different activities that happen in the space. We need those kind of nuanced research and time. And it takes time and funding and resources. And sometimes what films like for example, and you see all knowledge, all histories are impressive. We have to start from that basis that they are impressive, but they are necessary. And it will just provide us with an entry point to access things that we may not have access. More people now, will know about it.
Ó ń túmọ̀ sí pé a gbọ́dọ̀ bára ẹni ṣe kí nǹkan lè dánmọ́ bó ṣe yẹ kó dánmọ́. Ẹ wá rántí pa ti jọ sọ́nà pé LISABI yóò ní tán síbi. Àti ìwò pé LISABI week ó tún ṣì máa ṣẹlẹ̀. Gbogbo ń ta kọ́ pátápátá nínú fíìmù yẹn, gbogbo àwọn ilé LISABI ta kọ́ yẹn, a máa rí ẹ̀ náà tiẹ̀ sépo yìí. A máa wá jẹ́ káwọn èèyàn wá from every part of the world to come and see it. Àwa tá a wá kópa nínú fíìmù yẹn náà, a máa wà ń bẹ̀. Ọlọ́yọ̀ á wà ń bẹ̀ bí Ọlọ́yọ̀. Ará Ẹ̀gbá á wà ń bẹ̀ bí Ará Ẹ̀gbá. Òṣìṣẹ́ á wà ń bẹ̀. So tí àwọn new generations yìí tán bá wá, kódà kán máa tí ìwò fíìmù yẹn, tán bá wà nínú space yẹn, for people that are in the film to even tell them this was the story, this was how this was what came up at this time. That way, we are equipping them with the necessary things that they need to know about culture, about our history.
Thank you very much. Is there any question? I have one hand here. Is there any other one? I have two there. I have three here. Let's go for those three first.
Láyé nígbà tó ṣẹlẹ̀, kódà àwọn tá a gbọ́ lẹ́nu ẹ̀ náà wọ́n gbọ́ lẹ́nu èèyàn ni ó ti di àrọ́bá sì ní àwọn bàbá àtàlẹ́. So ohun tá a gbọ́ ni àmọ́ bàtà fẹ́ bẹ̀rẹ̀ LISABI àgbéra àti kámẹ́rà ó di pálásì Aláké, a lọ a béèrè
a rí bàbá arúgbó kan bẹ̀ tó sọ oríṣiríṣi fún wa nípa LISABI bó ṣe jẹ́, bó ṣe wà, bó ṣe rí. Lẹ́yìn àwa gbéra a lọ sínú igbó LISABI ọ̀hún níbi tán ní LISABI wọlé sí àdébẹ̀. Tó wọlé lóòótọ́ ni iná wọ́n bá léèyàn wọlé kí ló túmọ̀ sí? Ṣé ó kóra wọnú ilẹ̀ ni àbí wọ́n gbẹ́lẹ̀ ó wọlé sílẹ̀ fúnra ẹ̀, àbí báwo ti ẹ̀rà ṣe fẹ́ sọ gbogbo ẹ̀ bẹ́ẹ̀ a lọ àgbà àwa jókòó pé bó ṣe ṣẹlẹ̀ nígbà yẹn creative license wà. What can we add to it to make the situation more explainable to people so that they will know the extent of what went wrong at that time, so that ayé ìgbà yẹn àtayé ìsìn we can merge it together and still not lose the essence of the real story that we are to tell people. So there's some creative license that we went through in the film, had some characters that are not tí ó ṣẹlẹ̀ nígbà yẹn tàbí gba LISABI yìí pé ohun tó ṣẹlẹ̀ rèé àwọn tá a bá tún fi léyìí sí á tún jẹ́ káwọn èèyàn retí rí pé aburú tó ṣe tán ṣe nígbà yẹn ó lé kó pọ̀ tó yìí àti bẹ́ẹ̀ òun ni a lò tí LISABI fún táwa fi wá gbèrò pé ká ṣe LISABI ni pé èmi fúnra mi ti rí pé a ti ń sọnù láwọn ọba kan. Òyìnbó ni bàbá mi nìkan ni mo mọ̀ tó máa ń sọ pé tí n bá bẹ́ẹ̀ sọ Yorùbá má fún òyìnbó dá mi lóhùn pẹ̀lú Yorùbá padà. Tó bá ti dé ní ẹ̀kọ́ ẹ̀ ibi tẹ́ ti ń kọ́ ẹ̀lẹ́ ẹ̀kọ́ yín ẹ máa fira yín bá English yín sọ̀rọ̀ kí n tó bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí embrace pé Yorùbá yìí lóòótọ́ ohun téèyàn ń dì mú ṣiṣẹ́ ni ká má sọnù. A wá ṣe LISABI torí mo rí pé most of even my generation a lè sọ Yorùbá tó já gere mọ́ àbí a lè sọ Yorùbá tó já gere mọ́ Yorùbá dẹ̀ ni wá. So tá a bá ní tá à ń sọ tó já gere báyìí tó bá jẹ́ ìgbésó Òyìnbó náà tá à tún sọ tó já gere iyì wa ni ẹ̀yẹ wa ni la ṣe ní àní dẹ́kun àti máa ṣe gbogbo àwọn fíìmù wa ní Yorùbá. Àwọn China ń ṣe ní China a lè máa wò tá a máa fẹ́ wò gbogbo àlà ń wo India ń ṣe ní India fún ọ̀dẹ̀ ní sọ èdè míì a lè máa jókòó tì a lè máa wò ó. So a gbọ́dọ̀ ṣe náà ní Yorùbá bẹ́ẹ̀ tó bá dójú ẹ̀ wọ́n á gbà tọwọ́ tẹsẹ̀ wọ́n á dẹ̀ máa wà.
Ẹ jẹ́ ká mú ìbéèrè kejì.
Thank you, sir. So my name is Banke. I'm here with my colleagues from Namiwaya. What would you say to other Yoruba filmmakers to encourage them to really lean into the beauty of the language in its purest form? There was a time where people would want to learn how to speak Yoruba and to understand Yoruba, and they will watch Yoruba films from like 10, 15 years ago. If you compare the films then, they're on YouTube, even to now, like Tioluwa Needed. Compare them to now, there's a difference in the type of Yoruba, like the quality of Yoruba that they speak. What would you say to encourage Yoruba filmmakers who might be listening to this, just for them to lean into that and put the real pure Yoruba there, so that people like me, from watching the films that they post now these days, we can learn? Because apart from LISABI and all the other epics, you won't really find the undiluted Yoruba in these films. People are mixing, they'll speak 10 sentences in English, sprinkle into Yoruba words, and it's like it's a Yoruba film. So what do you have to say to that?
Sorry, before we take it, let's take the other question as well, so that like that we can speak around it together. Where is that other question?
Àwọn tí wọ́n wá fẹ́ bẹ̀rẹ̀ ní pé torí ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ nínú wa bẹ́yìn ṣe ṣiṣẹ́ takuntakun láti gbé sí ojú fọ́nrán tó tóbi. Bàbá kan náà ṣe ń gbìyànjú láti máa kọ́ ìbẹ̀rẹ̀ yìí náà àti máa ṣe àwọn ohun tí ó lè túbọ̀ gbé wa lárugẹ lórí YouTube yìí àti gbogbo ẹ̀rọ àyè. Àwọn mo tún rí pé láwùjọ wa gan, àwọn èèyàn náà tún tí ìgbà aṣọ aláṣọ là ń gbà tá a fi ń bora. Oúnjẹ olóúnjẹ là ń gbà tá a fi ń jó. kí ni nǹkan tá a tún lè ṣe tá a túbọ̀ tì wá síta dáadáa táwọn èèyàn á fi lè mọ̀ pé àṣà tiwa lọ ọba mi ní àwa fúnra wa kò yẹ ká máa tọrọ jẹ ọmọ ẹlẹ́ran kò yẹ kó máa dé egbò kò yẹ kó tẹ̀ máa tọrọ egun gan àbí ẹran kan lọ́wọ́ èèyàn mi nígbà tí ìṣàṣàlẹ̀ egun wọn kí ni nǹkan mi ìta tún lè ṣe dáadáa bí wọ́n yẹ sọ ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ content lèmi fẹ́ àbíbọ̀ ṣe síta àwọn èèyàn wa gan wọn tún tí ìjọwọ́ bò kán túbọ̀ bò á mọ́ra bí màámi bẹ́ẹ̀ ṣe sọ lẹ́ẹ̀kan wọ́n ní pé tó bá máa ṣe publishing máa ṣe wá ìgbà ṣọlẹ̀ publishing tó bá máa ṣe pé ìjọba gbúdọ̀ fọwọ́ sí kọ́ńtò tẹ̀lú àdẹ̀wò pé ìjọsí ìjọba bá ti fọwọ́ sí nílẹ̀ lórílẹ̀‐èdè tá a wà yìí ó máa ń peléke gan gidi àwọn míì.
nítorí èèyàn kún ò lè dá ṣe Másòyìnbó ti bẹ̀rẹ̀ ẹrú rẹ̀ kí ni ìwọ fúnra ẹ̀ ń ṣe kí lèmi fúnra mi ń ṣe béèyàn bá tiẹ̀ kí mi lẹ́sẹ̀yìn kí n tó dáhùn kankan ó ti gbọ́ báyìí bí n ṣe máa bẹ́ẹ̀ lónìí kó kí mi lóyìnbó máa pé báyìí bẹ́ẹ̀ nǹkan tí mo mọ̀ tá lè ṣe ni pé kó bẹ̀rẹ̀ látọ̀dọ̀ ẹ̀ kó bẹ̀rẹ̀ látọ̀dọ̀ ìbí ohun tá a bá bẹ̀rẹ̀ táyé bá bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí rí lọ́tún lénìí lọ́la lọ́túnla tí wọ́n rí pé ó tún padà àwọn èèyàn bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí get used sí pé ó dàbí eré ló tún tán àdẹ́màṣe à ń lọ Saudi Arabia à ń lọ Dubai wọn níwọ̀n ní jàlábíà yìí lọ ẹ ní rí wọn nínú bùbá àdéhùn jàlábíà yìí àti ìwé rí wọn ni wọ́n lọ sí ọ́fíìsì kò jù bẹ́ẹ̀ lọ àwọn ọlọ́pàá wọn gan wọn jàlábíà kí wá ló ṣàwọn aṣọ títí wa àmọ́ nítorí bí mo ṣe sọ ohun tán ti kó sí wa nínú làákàyè á pẹ́ kó tó jáde o so we need to keep work a máa fọ̀ títí tá a máa fi mọ́ padà sí ohun tó jẹ́ títí wa ni.
ẹ jẹ́ ká jẹ́ kí alàgbà wà láàrin wa náà lọ dá sí.
I think I want to come back to the point that the young lady mentioned about whether Nollywood can produce I think purity is a myth and it's very much against the essence of Yoruba culture. And why do I say that? I think Yoruba is first and foremost a cosmopolitan society. It's a very modern, urban society, pre-conquest. And it has always absorbed differences, right? So the idea of pure Yoruba is a language, a culture that's always on the move, always remaking itself. The differences that it encounters. Even though I understand what you're saying about the need to preserve the language, we do need to preserve the language, but we cannot expect to preserve the language in pure form. Our society has changed, it has transformed. We have experienced encounters that were prior to even European colonization, right? We have the Arabization of the continent, of Yoruba land, before Christianization, right? So things have changed. It means that we cannot go back to the original form. And in fact, Yoruba as a culture doesn't believe in the absolute, right? This is why we have our dating issue. Okay? A culture that already has issue at the center tells you everything you need to know about why we need to guard against a quest for purity. And we must continue to speak and elevate our language, but not to the detriment of outside of plurality. This is a culture that is extremely plural. It's a polytheistic, polyrhythmic culture. Purity is what you give to the cultures of monotheism, right? So I think one of the things that we have to celebrate about Yoruba culture is the fact that everything that Europeans are trying to grapple with today, we already grappled with them many months ago. Right? There's much about plurality, diversity. These are the center of what it means to be Yoruba. This is why we celebrate anomaly, like twins, for example. We say twins is an anomaly in nature. because of an anomaly, we must bring it closer and understand it and celebrate it, right? So let's think about when we're saying we want pure Yoruba. We can never have pure Yoruba. This is why you watch a film like LISABI. If you're trying to look for pure authenticity, you will not find it. You will find fault with it. But if you understand it as a film that's recreating a particular moment, and if we understand that every history in the world is always a reconstruction, a remaking, then it allows us to have what you call creative license for us to be truthful to the origin, but also play with it. Right? So we play with what we have. But the key thing is that we must not discard what we have for something else. If we're going to have something else, let it be in relation to what we already have, as well, in conversation with.
So, in essence, I love the fact that most of the things you said still dance around the issue. So when you talk about play with it, there's also a trickery around it, and also the whole idea of intersection, crossroads, and realizing that there's no absolute and everything's plural. I love that. That joke. Oh, that's it.
Give me my card.
Yeah, my love.
Ṣé mọ̀ pé ó ní ìkọ̀kọ̀ tí mo máa ń sọ fún gẹ́gẹ́ bí mo ṣe sọ fún púpọ̀ àwọn èèyàn lé ní ọdún ní Yorùbá. Mo máa ń sọ fún àwọn èèyàn wípé àìníra ẹni ọ̀rọ̀ yẹn kéré ṣùgbọ́n ó lọ́rìn gan kéèyàn má ní ara ẹ̀ ló ń dààmú àìníra ẹni. Wọ́n á kọ́ lóyìnbó pé identity inferiority complex. Nǹkan tó ń dààmú wa ni. Tó bá ṣe pé a níra wa tí èdè bá ń fọ̀ tó yé wa, a mọ̀ wípé èdè Yorùbá kọjá èdè. Nínú èdè Yorùbá ó kọjá èdè tá à ń sọ. Tẹ́bá ní wá ní ṣé o lè sọ Gẹ̀ẹ́sì, ṣé o lè sọ Spanish, ṣé o lè sọ Faransé, ṣùgbọ́n wá ní ṣé o gbọ́ Yorùbá. O lè sọ Yorùbá kó má gbọ́ Yorùbá. Àìlè gbọ́ Yorùbá ló ń jẹ́ ká máa sọ wípé a ní sọ Yorùbá tó yọrantí. Kò sí nǹkan ẹyọ kan tó yẹ kó sọnù nínú èdè àti àṣà Yorùbá. Tẹ́ bá sọ pé bàbá lásán bàbá, ó kọjá pé kí gbogbo wa sọ pé bàbá. Kí ni bà? Bà to shield. Wọ́n ní ẹyẹ bà lókùn, adìyẹ bà lẹ́yìn, ó sàbà ó bà náà. Tí kòkó wọ́n ní wọ́n bà kòkó. Ṣé pápákọ̀ òfurufú ti bà? Ìyẹn to land, to protect, to shield, to guide. Bá to meet. Mo máa bá yín lọ́la, màá bá yín. Ṣé mo máa bá yín? Tẹ́ bá wá sọ pọ̀, tẹ́ bá sọ pé bàbá. Someone that protects, that guides, that shields, that chastises, and someone you can meet to meet your needs. Ó kọjá kéèyàn kan sọ pé bàbá mi.
Àgbọ́yé.
Tẹ́ bá sọ
àgbọ́yé
ọ̀dọ́ àgbà. Tẹ́ bá sọ bàbá, ẹ̀yin mọ nǹkan tẹ́ ń sọ, ẹ̀yin fẹ́ sọ nù. Àwọn Gẹ̀ẹ́sì wọ́n mọ àwọn mi ò fẹ́ sọ Gẹ̀ẹ́sì nìkan, àwọn òyìnbó yẹn wọ́n mọ nǹkan tí à ń sọ nù tá à gbọ́ yìí. Àwọn tí alábàáṣiṣẹ́ mi nìyẹn, àwọn tí wọ́n jẹ́ tó ń ṣiṣẹ́ tó wà ní Mexico, tó wà ní France, tó wà ní Guinea, tó wá gbé lọ́dọ̀ mi, òyìnbó tó wá ń kọ́ Yorùbá, tó ń gbé nílé mi, wọ́n ń gbé nílé mi funfun. Àwa táwa ń bí, a gbọ́ Yorùbá tó wọn, a lè kífà, a mọ̀ kankan. Bàbá sọ pé a fẹ́ pé a lè padà sí ká sọ èdè Yorùbá tó yọrantí, a sì wà ní èrò àná. Yorùbá sọ pé ọgbọ̀n ọdún ni wéré ẹ̀mí, ọgbọ̀n ọdún ni wéré ẹ̀. Àwọn bàbá wa yẹn, àwọn ìyá ńlá wa tó ń gbé èdè kalẹ̀. Kò sí nǹkan tó jẹ́ àṣà àdànù ní èdè Yorùbá. There's something called arbitrariness. Like, there's nothing cup about cup. There's nothing book about book. Kò sí ọ̀rọ̀ Yorùbá tí a fẹ́ sọ tí ò ní ìtumọ̀. Tẹ́ bá sọ pé ẹ̀gbọ́n, kí ni ọgbọ́n? Wisdom. Ẹ̀gbọ́n jù mí lọ. Ẹni tẹ́ bá pè lẹ́gbọ́n, ó yẹ kó gbọ́n jù yín lọ.
Ẹ̀kú àgbà.
Ìgbà tó jẹ́ ẹ̀gbọ́n nìyẹn, ṣùgbọ́n gbogbo wa là ń kọ ẹ̀gbọ́n, gbogbo wa là ń sọ ẹ̀gbọ́n, ṣùgbọ́n gbogbo wa kọ́ ló gbọ́ ẹ̀gbọ́n. Tẹ́ bá gbọ́ èdè yín, ẹ̀jọ̀, tẹ́ bá gbọ́ èdè, tẹ́ bá gbọ́ èdè Yorùbá, ẹ̀ ní fẹ́ fi èdè mí fún èdè Yorùbá, Ọlọ́run lọ. Àìgbọ́ ni Ọlọ́run gbọ́, àìgbọ́ ni pé a fẹ́ sọ èdè. Ṣé táwọn àwọn tó wà ní China yẹn tó bá sọ tiwọn, ṣé wọ́n ń fi nǹkan míì kún? Wọ́n ń fi kún. Bẹ́ẹ̀ lọ sí Ìkòyí, tẹ́ mórílé ọ̀nà Ìbàdàn. Ẹ bá lọ kẹ́ mórílé Àkúrẹ́, kẹ́ bọ́ sí Kogi, kẹ́ bọ́ sí Àbújá, ní dé Ìkòyí. Ibi tí mò ń lọ ni wípé kò sí bá a sì fẹ́ lọ tó ibi tó ń sọ ní a sì máa padà sí. Ká padà sí ẹsẹ̀ àárọ̀. Ká padà sí ẹsẹ̀ àárọ̀. Ká bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí ń sọ, tá bá ń ṣàṣìṣe ká máa kọ́ nínú àṣìṣe wa. Àwọn tí mò ń kọ́, mo máa ń sọ fún wọn. Mo ní ẹ lè sọ Yorùbá bí mo ṣe ń sọ Yorùbá, bí èmi náà ò ṣe lè sọ Gẹ̀ẹ́sì bẹ́ẹ̀ ṣe ń sọ Gẹ̀ẹ́sì. Ṣùgbọ́n tẹ́ bá sọ pé bàbá, tèmi sọ pé bàbá, ṣùgbọ́n ṣé mo gbọ́ nǹkan tó sọ? Mo gbọ́ àbí? Ìyẹn ti tó mi.
Báwa.
Torí tẹ́ bá sọ lọ́jọ́ kan, ọjọ́ méjì, ọ̀sẹ̀ kan, ọ̀sẹ̀ méjì, oṣù kan, oṣù méjì, ó máa yàtọ̀. Nǹkan mi ò ṣe pé mo kúrò lọ́nà ni o, mo kàn sọ wípé ká yọ kúrò pé a lè padà sí ká fọ Yorùbá kó mọ́ tíní. Kí ló àṣà? Ṣà, to pick, to select. Nǹkan tí a ṣà, bá ṣe ń kíra wa, bá ṣe ń sọ̀rọ̀, bá ṣe ń hùwà, èdè wa, àṣà àkósójú kan, àwa ní àṣà tiwa ni. Àwa máa ṣe ibi tí ìṣe tradition wà nìyẹn.
Àgbà ò ní tán lórílẹ̀.
Àbí àṣà, nǹkan tá a ṣà, tá a ṣe. Èyí tí a bá wá ṣà yẹn, tá a ṣe yẹn, àwa sọ di èèwọ̀, nǹkan tí ò wọ̀, tàbú, tí ò bá wa lára mu. Ṣùgbọ́n tí bá sọ pé èèwọ̀ kò wọ̀ fún mi, nǹkan tí mo fẹ́ ká ṣe ni wípé ká sọ èdè elédè di èèwọ̀ fún wa. Ká sọ dé wọ̀. Bàbá ṣe fún ọdún kan, ọmọ ìyá mi, Ọlọ́run, ó máa múra. Ṣé èmi náà lè sọ bí mo ṣe ń sọ tẹ́lẹ̀ báyìí? Iléèwé ẹ̀kọ́ gíga tí mo lọ, aládàáni ni. Torí tèmi ní Covenant University náà ṣe bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí ń jẹ́ ká máa wọ aṣọ tiwantiwa lọ́jọ́ àìkú. Torí kí ni mò ń wọ̀? Aṣọ agbádá ni mò ń wọ̀ láti. Mo ní tó ẹ̀ẹ́dẹ́gbẹ̀ta jù bẹ́ẹ̀. Àwọn tó ń wọ aṣọ òyìnbó, wọ́n ń bá mi, wọ́n máa wá fún mi lágbádá. Màá máa fún yàn òun kó agbádá fún yàn. Tó bá bá yín lára mu àwọn èèyàn bá yín, bẹ́ẹ̀ bá ní bá fàjẹ gbẹgbẹ́ ẹ̀ náà máa bá fún yín. Ẹ jọ̀ọ́, ẹ jẹ́ ká mú.
At this point, sorry. At this point, we will have to close it. One of the things I'm going to close with is to say everything that we've heard today, whether it's in what our brother has called creative license, how we can take what our brother here is saying very passionately and he has the right to. And the way he said, we can actually also take our creative license to move around those. And our sister here is also saying we shouldn't close out the outside. I think that all of it is Yoruba. All of it is not this or that. We are a people of this and that and that. And That's also wisdom. And you will ask yourself, what is the purpose of a Yoruba Center for Culture and History, if not for everything we've heard today? It's important for us to say it. We are very, very happy that we now have a space like this that is unashamedly Yoruba. Everything the Maridi comes from Yoruba, translate it because we are very open. And I want us to know that where we are now is not where we want to go. But we shouldn't underestimate where we are now. Go on my son English, you say. We are going to be 5 years. What is the I want to they will have a very different upbringing. Because gbogbo wa tá ń sọ òyìnbó tá a gbọ́ Yorùbá kọ́kọ́ ṣe wá o. Nǹkan tó ṣe wá ló dé o. Nǹkan tó ṣe wá òun ló dé bá wa. So iṣẹ́ tá máa ṣe fáwọn tó ń bọ̀ lẹ́yìn bí àti ṣe sọ.
As we're done with the pictures, let us go downstairs. Let us proceed to the premiere, to the red carpet rather, downstairs, please. As soon as we are done, please let's proceed to the red carpet. Thank you very much.
Olórí ọba. Sorry, the phone, sorry. Sir.